Hey there, listeners. I'm Tom.
And I'm James, and you're listening to World on a String.
Hey, James.
How you doing, Tom? How's it going?
I'm pretty good.
I'm
This is episode 11.
Wow. We just keep going.
We just
week,
keep going every week. Another
yeah.
episode.
Apart from that one
It's weird, that.
that.
Yeah, when we didn't.
That was a bad one. And it was looking like there was going to be another week. Not this week, but next week. But I think
Next week,
I think we've sorted it.
Hopefully we'll record in 2 days' time.
Hopefully, which is massive. We'll record shortly after the video has gone up.
This one goes out. Yeah.
That's wow. We're organised. We're really
We
organised.
certainly are.
So, how's your week, Tom? How's your week, Tom? How's your week been? Both of them work.
I mean, all right. I've not done a lot.
No? Wow.
No, I did do something Monday that I can't remember what it was.
That's okay. That's all okay.
I went to see my grandma today, which is good.
Oh my god.
Oh, I was my friend Joseph, who I think listens. He certainly listened to the first few. I don't know if he's still listening. I think so. He does a film and media course, so he had to make a little short film, and so I starred in that.
Oh man. Holy shit. Where can they find that? Is that going to be published anywhere?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know if it'll even go anywhere.
Oh, that's a shame.
If it goes on YouTube, then I'll probably be tweeting out a link anyway.
Yeah. Holy crap. Well, you know how last week we had the misadventures with spiders?
We did.
And then following me across the country back to this house that I'm sat in right now. I was scared to death of the spiders. So everywhere I was going, I was like avoiding spiders. Well, I was just walking around town the other day. And I was just walking past Sainsbury's and there was a flower just next to me. And all of a sudden I just felt something on the inside of my hand. And then I looked down, there was just this wasp. And he just stung me just as I looked at him. I waggled my hand in the air, like trying to get him off. And he was just stuck in me. I had to pull him out and then pull the stinger out. So I should have always watched out for the wasps and not the spiders.
Yeah, you see. Watching the wrong one.
Definitely. It was awful. It was an awful experience.
Was that your first time being stung?
I think I was stung a very long time ago, but I can't remember. But I remember being told I was stung, but I don't remember actually being stung.
Being stung. I've been stung by a wasp before.
They hurt.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's not pleasant.
No. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that...
I quite like wasps, though.
What?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I'm more like... I like watching people when they see a wasp.
Oh.
It happens a lot at work, because it's been really hot. And so we've got some tables outside. And so there's been a lot of wasps. And when you take people out their food, the wasps will often come along. And just watching people kind of scream and freak out and jump about, it's quite funny, really.
I guess. But they're awful. They're really scary.
They're not that bad.
What? Holy crap. I'm scared. I'm scared of wasps.
I don't know. I don't think you'll get stung by a wasp unless you aggravate it.
I didn't aggravate it.
Yeah, but your fingers are weird.
They are pretty weird.
It probably was like, ugh, these are gross fingers.
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 It was a very strange experience. Other than that, my week has been almost completely dull. Again, but not next week. Oh no, I know. My girlfriend is treating me on a little mini break to Liverpool, which is going to be very exciting.
Of all the places?
Well, yeah, it's hard because neither of us drive. Although I am doing my driving test very soon.
Are you?
I am.
I was just talking about this the other day with somebody. Like, I remember you taking lessons ages ago.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember if you'd done your test.
No, I did.
I said I don't think he has.
I did, but I failed.
You did it, and you failed. Is that your practical or your theory?
My practical. I did my theory.
Did you pass your theory?
Yeah.
Does that...
It runs out on the 30th of August, and my test is on the 22nd of August, so I have to pass.
Oh, that's pretty soon.
Yeah. Yes.
Have you been taking lessons?
Yeah, I've been driving around and all sorts. They've changed the test completely now. We don't have to reverse around a corner.
You have to do motorway and stuff, don't you?
Do you?
I thought you did. That might
No.
not be it.
You have to do sat-navs.
Do you really?
Yeah, 20 minutes of the test is sat-navs. Just chuck a sat-nav on, and there you go.
I wish I didn't have to reverse around a corner.
No, I have to pull up.
That was my manoeuvre
on the right side of the road.
my
That was
tests.
it. Really?
And I failed on it. That was my major on my first test. Was I didn't check over my right shoulder while reversing around the corner.
Oh, that's bad. Missing your blind spot.
And then on my second test, I bumped into the curb while reversing around the corner, which you're not allowed to do. And I went, "Can I just try it again?" And the guy went, "Do whatever you need to do."
Whoa.
So I just did it again.
Wait, so you pulled...
I did it right the second time.
Like back round the corner to your starting position?
And then reversed around the corner again, and he was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Oh, wow, you had a really chill guy for your test.
I got like 13 minors.
That's fine.
As well. But, that's passing it.
Yeah. Man, I'm really scared for mine. Really scared.
Nah, it's alright.
Just want to pass. Just want to...
Just drive about.
Yeah. Free as a Tom in a car. Holy shit. Have you got anything big going on next week, Tomash?
I go to see my girlfriend next week.
Oh my god. That's going to be an amazing adventure. We're both on the road, but we're not actually going to be on the road for the podcast.
Well, I am driving up, so I will be really on the road.
Wow.
On the rails.
I will be on the rails, you're very correct. On a big train journey. It's not that big, it's 2 hours. What a shame.
It's about the same length as my drive.
Oh yeah. Show off. Right. So, shall we move into the album, Thomas?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I chose the album, which was another jazz album.
Another one.
Wow, it's number 4. Well, number 3. It depends whether you want to count Headhunters. And correction.
Yeah,
we won't get into that. Okay, so the album is Don't Go to Strangers, which I said wrong on the podcast. I read it as Don't Go to Stranger for some reason, and I was adamant about it being Don't Go to Stranger. It is Don't Go to Strangers.
It's got that S on there.
It has. God, what is up with me? Episode 10 just got me so excited, I didn't actually know what I was doing. It's an Etta Jones album. She's a singer. She's a jazz singer. She's a great singer. I love her.
Yeah.
What were your first thoughts, Tom?
I quite enjoyed this album.
Oh, this is
good. Of all the jazz albums that we've listened to, this one was my preferred style. However, I think I'm not super into jazz. I mean, I did enjoy it, but as I'll get into, there were parts of it that I just thought could have been done differently or would have preferred not to be there, but I think that those things are probably quite central to jazz.
Yeah, it's a very old jazz album. I didn't actually look up the year it was released, but it was quite old. You could tell by the recording, and you could tell by the people in it. It was a...
I thought that recording, though, I thought it was made it better, to be honest, really.
Yeah.
The fact that it almost had that crackly, record feel.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wish I could listen to it on record.
1960.
1960? Oh, not as early as I thought, then. Okay. Not too bad.
50 years. In fact, it's nearly 60 years ago now. It's nearly 2020.
Holy shit.
It's 2018, James.
Oh, man, I don't like it. We're too far along. But yeah, so I'll just go through the lineup because, as we've said many times, the lineup for jazz is vital. I
don't know if it's vital.
Oh, it definitely
is. I didn't know the lineup, and it didn't affect my enjoyment of it at all.
Guess we won't do the lineup this week.
I mean, I think I bet it to a jazzy person. It's like
jazzy.
Oh, yes, the subtle touch of Gary Davis's fingertips on the keyboard really show in this, but it's just what it sounds like in it, really.
This is disgraceful. Okay, we'll leave the lineup.
Who's in the lineup? James?
Okay, we've got Frank Wes on flute and tenor sax, Richard Wyards on piano, Skeeter Best on guitar, George De Vivier on bass, and Roy Haynes, who is one hell of a big hitter on drums. It's a pretty impressive lineup. I'm not gonna lie.
What is it that he hits?
What do you mean? Oh, he hit. Wow, he
the drums, presumably.
Tom, he hits the drums. Yeah. He's a big boy. He's one big boy drum hitter. Anyway, let's go into our track by track. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's my baby. That's it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked. This one is more kind of what I think of in my head as your traditional jazz.
Yeah.
It had that smooth kind of drum percussion,
Mm-hmm.
and then like really gentle bass. I thought the bass was too quiet or too gentle, kind of all the way through.
Yeah.
You couldn't really hear it for most of the album,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't really like, but it was there. And then the piano in this first song was quite light as well.
Mm-hmm.
So so Etta was really at the forefront
Yeah.
and was really going for it, which I like that. So that got points for me.
Yeah, I think compared to the other singer, Gretchen Parlato, I think this is much more what you expected
Lyrical.
of jazz, I think.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, I think that sometimes the jazz could be, it's not really the right word, but almost a bit too experimental, where it's all bitty, and you've got a bit of this instrument, and then a bit of this instrument, and then a bit of this instrument. And I know it's because jazz is to kind of highlight all the performers' talent, so they all get their little solo. But I don't think that's great listening wise. It feels disjointed and bitty. Whereas so with this, where you've got a very clear lead of the vocal part, and then just occasional little interludes of solos, I find that preferable.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot. I think pretty much every single one of these songs on here is a standard. They're all quite old standards. I think this one was written in 1928 and first recorded in the 40s. So it's a really, really old tune. So that's why it kind of lends itself to the voice. I think they were all originally songs. It's not like a tenor sax or a flute playing a sung song. It is a sung song. Not as it was originally written, but closer.
Yeah, it was written to be sung.
Which is good. But yes. Yeah. So this first one it's just a swing. It's just a nice swing with good flute solo, a nice flute backings, really tasteful.
So I've never heard a flute be played in jazz before. And I thought it worked really, really well. Your typical kind of jazzy wind instruments are those saxophone or clarinet, something like that, where it's got quite a full, mellow sound.
Yeah.
And so to get the flute, which isn't as full, and can almost be a bit whiny sometimes. It isn't here because it's played really well, but that more whistly, high-pitched, I thought it worked really, really well, and I haven't heard it before played like that.
The flute's really nice.
The whole album, I liked that, but I guess this song probably got the most points for it because I really wasn't expecting any flute. Yeah.
That's mad. Yeah, I love jazz flute. I think it's such a great, almost subgenre now, especially on this track. Really, really like it.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Anyway, move on. Don't Go to Strangers, which is the name of the album.
It is.
This slows it down a lot. I mean,
I thought it was quite boring, to be honest.
Really?
This song. Yeah, it didn't seem to do as much as the previous one. It seemed very simplistic, which I know I was just saying that's kind of what I prefer when it's just them all being smooth and quieter and just Etta taking the limelight. But I guess this was that, but also slow as well, and I just found it uninteresting.
Man, I loved it. I love all the songs on this album, though, to be fair, but this is a really, really good one. It's just a slow kind of ballady, standardy thing.
Yeah.
Where the flute plays much more of a backing role, but I think the backings are towards the end on the flute, so it kind of builds up, which is nice. But yeah, not much to say about them. I love Paris. I really love Paris. Yeah.
I really liked the flute again. There's a couple of little piano-y interludes that were really cool. It's weird because I guess my favourite thing about this album, really, or rather this style, is the fact that it is more vocally led and more lyrical than what we've listened to in the past.
Yeah.
However, on none of the songs is my favourite bit the vocal track. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on this, the thing that really took me was the flute. I thought the flute had some really cool little bits that I thought if you just isolated them on their own would work as really good sound cues in like Nintendo adventure games.
Yeah.
Like you open a chest and it goes do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
There's just quite a few little bits where it's just a couple of bars like that.
Yeah. It's all the kind of backing flute bits where she sings as a bit of a pause, and then Frank goes a bit mental about it. The good thing about I Love Paris is a standard that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have played. I've played it. A lot of people, jazz musicians I know, have played it. I really, really like the difference between the A section and the B section, because the A section is very kind of, it almost felt jungly with the drums and the rhythms it was using, but then it goes into a kind of just like a heavy swing in the B section with a good walking bass and strong a strong melodic lead from Etta. And then, of course, the flute and the keys, they both get a solo. And then it fades out towards the end.
It does.
Oh, is this one far down on your list? Did the fade out make it much worse?
No, actually, it's quite high on my list.
Oh, my days. I'm surprised. I like it, though. Fine and mellow.
Yeah. I liked this one.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bullet points that I've got for this one is, ooh, that sax like intro, not the intro to the song, but the intro to the sax.
Yeah.
I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
When it just, because I was expecting it to just be flute all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So then when the sax came in and it was that deeper, more resonant, it was like, ooh, yeah, that hits
like
the spot.
a sultry kind of. Yeah. So this one's also quite slow. Why do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Because you said with the other slow one, Don't Go to Strangers, you didn't like it because it was slow. But this was also slow. Is there, other than the sax, do you think there's a reason you prefer?
You say other than the sax, I think that the main reason that I prefer this one to Don't Go to Strangers is that the other instruments are doing a bit more. Like, I liked the drum part in this as well, because it was typically in jazz you get that kind of boom, and it's very gentle, and the cymbals are cut off quite quickly. It's like whereas with this one it was a bit more ringy. It let it ring out a bit more, and it was more
Yeah.
It was just a bit different to what you get a lot of the time, and I liked that. And then the saxophone obviously was different to a lot of the other songs on the album, even though it is a bit more typically jazz.
Yeah.
And then the piano did quite a bit of fancy little bits as well, so it was just a bit more interesting than Don't Go to Strangers. Okay. So that's why I preferred this one a bit.
I can see that. Yeah. Sometimes though, I worry about it when playing with people. I worry that the rhythm section, they kind of overcomplicate things. Like the piano player plays unnecessary rhythms, and I'm more bothered about the drummer keeping in time and then letting the rest of the rhythm section bounce off
I don't like listening to drums.
No.
Like, I wouldn't listen to a drum solo, and I find that last section of Whiplash the most annoying thing that's ever happened in a film. Like, I just don't think they're that interesting as an instrument.
I think they'd be super interesting. Unless
you're talking about talking drums or African drums.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think that a drum set or a drum kit is ever. I think it's just too dull.
You have to look at it differently. I think that you look at this isn't a criticism, by the way. I feel like I'm slating you, but I'm really not. I just think the way you look at music, you kind of see it as a melody. Like, the thing you look for in music is melody. But a lot of music isn't melody. And I think with drums, especially when listening to drum solos, like listening to the end of Whiplash, you've got to look at the musician as a whole, as you do with every other musician, and especially with drums rhythm, because they haven't got the pitches and the notes of say a saxophone or a clarinet, but they can control rhythm and they can play triplets or septuplets in one hand while they just play standard minims or crotchets with the other. And drummers are some of the best
Yeah,
musicians around
but
because the skill they
if
have.
I was going to watch a film about a musician or pay to see a musician or anything like that, I would expect them to be talented and to be really good at what they're playing. So the fact that he can play septuplets with one hand and minims with the other, yes, it's very impressive. Yes, shows a great amount of talent on the part of the artist.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you can appreciate what it is they are playing just because of technical difficulty. I think that's a bit disingenuous in a way.
No, I think.
I mean, yeah, I think you could write. I could write a piece of piano music that's really hard to play. It doesn't mean it would be good music.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess my issue is I can appreciate the talent that it would take to play a good drum part, and I can see why, as auditory art, it's impressive.
Yeah.
But to me, you're right, I don't consider that music. In the same way I wouldn't consider a beatboxer music.
Yeah.
I think beatboxing is very impressive. And I mean, I know a couple of people at university who are at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, next week, doing a beatboxing comedy show. It's two of them, and they do a mix of sketch comedy and beatboxing, and that's their show.
That's mad.
And I think that's really impressive and an incredible talent. But it's not music. Their show isn't a musical show.
I'm going to agree to disagree.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
I like how we look at music completely differently, and I think the way you look at music is good. I like it.
I think if I was to simplify it down, and I guess this might be a little bit unfair, but I guess in a way, you view music as a performer.
Yeah.
And I view it as a listener, as an audience member.
Yeah.
In a way. And I think, I've said it before, and I think it is a fairly common belief that jazz is music for musicians.
Yeah, I was just about to say it does always come back to that. And I do agree.
A large part of the appeal of jazz is that it showcases the individual talents of the musicians in there. So when you can hear a solo being played, as a musician, you could be like, wow, that is very impressive.
Yeah.
Almost, in a way, almost regardless of what the solo actually sounds like. And that's not entirely true. It's a little bit unfair. But that's the kind of gist, I think, of my argument against jazz and why I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy something which isn't as technically difficult and is far more repeatable. Like, say, just some pop album.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a Selena Gomez album or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. But, yeah, I think everyone has this ability to understand jazz. I just feel like it hasn't... I sound so pretentious, and I'm so self-aware that I sound like this. But I feel like they haven't got the ability to not understand it, but unlock their understanding of it. Like, if you hear a four-chord song, and you hear it in a minor key, you know that is sad. So it's understanding jazz and understanding the harmony and rhythm of it is just an extension of that. It's just so I think that's why maybe it's considered music for musicians, because I suppose musicians, whether performing or studying at university or whatever, they have the kind of the extra ability, well, not ability, but extra understanding that they've unlocked either through their own personal means or through being taught. To understand maybe some of what jazz is, if that makes sense.
That's an interesting comparison, really, to the minor key is a sad thing.
Well, yeah,
because it's interesting, and I can see where you're coming from, but I feel in a way almost, I don't know, I feel like the minor key thing is almost a more subconscious reaction to it, whereas with jazz it's definitely conscious, and I don't know.
No, but when you hear. If you hear a solo live, you don't actively think, oh yeah, that was a good solo. You just kind of feel that it was good because you could feel like it controls you more than anything. If a sax player plays a run and you can almost hear a chord coming up and then he lands on it in a more unexpected way than the way that is more traditional or expected. It hits you more than you thinking, oh, he landed on the 4 instead of the 3 or the tonic or whatever. It's more, that is more of a feeling, which I think you do unlock through personal
Yes.
means.
Okay, so I agree with you that on that run down and then they end,
Yeah.
like anyone will be like, oh, that felt unexpected.
Hmm.
I think without the knowledge of, oh, he landed on the tonic and the 4th or whatever, then that feeling doesn't translate to an appreciation of the music.
Yeah.
I think would be my argument, and I don't. I think that it's difficult because when you're talking about music at such a high level, you do encounter a lot of these prodigies, for want of a better
Yeah.
word, where they almost are self-taught, and maybe they didn't learn about it in terms of a tonic or a dominant, but
Yeah.
just trying it out and seeing what sounds good to them. But so it's a little bit unfair to say that it has to be taught. But
Yeah.
I feel like for a large audience, the reason that they haven't unlocked it, I feel like that's a little bit reductionist in a way, just saying
Yeah.
that they haven't unlocked it. I mean, I find physics really interesting, and obviously a lot of people don't. And when people say, well, "Oh, what are you doing at university?" and I say physics, it's always, "Oh, like, oh, that would be, I can't imagine doing that. I'd find that really boring."
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go around saying, "Oh, I just don't think people have unlocked their appreciation of
Yeah, I
physics."
guess. Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same thing. I think that music is often seen as a lot more creative, and I mean, obviously it is a lot more creative.
Hmm.
It just is that more that way. But in a way, I almost feel like jazz is a much more uh, educational, or not quite educational, but academic form of music.
Yeah. Well, I think it has become now, but of course it wasn't originally because it started within like within the started with the slave trade, didn't it? Within the slaves all singing blues songs to each other, and it moved from there. So it did become much more of a feeling. I
Uh,
think now we've changed it
yeah,
into
I think
academic,
blues.
but
But then blues and jazz. I know that jazz came out of blues, but I'd say that the sounds and the appeals between blues and jazz are very different.
yeah, but I think no, I think they're very similar because a lot of blues is jazz, and jazz was never taught. Remember, like Miles Davis, he learned classical trumpet. He never learned jazz. He like found it himself, if you know what I mean. He kind of unlocked it himself,
Yeah,
as it were, because he like what got kicked out of Juilliard because he didn't want to learn classical music because he thought it wasn't like soulful. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't unlocking anything
yeah,
within him.
yeah,
I think now you're right,
yeah.
and it is taught either by yourself listening to the greats or
I guess in a way, my main issue with jazz
yeah.
is the whole standards thing.
Yeah.
It is all built on previous jazz, and to appreciate this performance of a standard, in a way, you almost need to know how that standard has been performed by the person who made it, by the person who did the most famous version.
Yeah.
You can listen to it and you're like, yes, I enjoyed that. But to appreciate it in the way that you do, you need to also be familiar with the other performances of it and the history of that standard and why this performance of the standard is different to how it would normally be performed.
Yeah.
And I just feel like for music, that's too it's too much, it's too academic. You should be able to appreciate
Yeah.
music in the moment.
Well, you couldn't do that with every standard though, because there's thousands of standards. It's just
Yeah,
I think that part comes with just knowing a lot of the
just
history of
knowing jazz.
jazz.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah. But equally though, like in the album that we Guts and Teeth, you knew a lot
Yeah,
of kind of background info about the songs and the stuff they mean, and that
yeah. I feel like
enables
though
you to
with those songs you can glean the meaning and the things just from listening to it. Where like I guess in a way because it is that more lyrical side.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it is quite interesting the differences between them, and
Gosh, we've gone
we have
right
talked
off
for
on a
quite a long
tangent.
time on this.
It was
So we
interesting though.
might
I
need
quite
to.
like hearing
I
your
think it is
side
definitely
of it.
interesting. I do like discussing it.
Holy cow. Anyway, where or when? Where or when should we discuss this again, Tom?
Next time there's a jazz album, we'll have to come back to it.
Yeah, see if our opinions change. I'll form a better argument.
Where or when? Again, I've said that those little 1 or 2 bar flute interludes are just, I'm really enjoying them.
Yeah, they're really good.
There was another time in this one, and it also happened in the first one, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, where the flute kind of started a little phrase and then stopped halfway through, and the piano finished it off almost seamlessly, and that sounded really good.
Yeah, I think there's one particular flute bit in this which comes back every 2 or 4 bars. It goes like that.
Yeah,
it always comes back. I absolutely love that. Yeah, it was just standard, played really nicely to high quality. The ending was nice. There was a tag. I think they raise like the last 4 bars, and they play it 3 times. But the second time they raise it up a tone or a semitone or something like that.
right.
It's just something that happens. But that was really nice, and Etta really goes off on one at that point. If I had you,
what would you do?
I'd slap you around the face. No, we don't.
I liked this one. Felt a bit more. It was had more strings running through it, and I don't know. I liked that it was different to some of the others. It stopped you getting bored.
Yeah.
Stopped it feeling repetitive in the way that Headhunters did and stuff like that, where it feels similar the way through when they change up the instruments, like bringing in that sax and not just having the flute all the way through, and now bringing in the strings. I like that. I like the mixing of it, mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, it's good. This standard was famously covered by Frank Sinatra. But I don't think, for me anyway, I mean, I do really like the Frank Sinatra version, but the 2 completely different versions are both equally amazing in their own merit. And I think Etta Jones has done such an amazing job with this standard. This is one of my favourite tunes on the album. I think it's done so nicely that I could look past. Like I think I'd rather listen to this than Frank Sinatra's version. With how nicely it's done. Yeah, I think the guitar really adds to it, rather than with a full big band that Frank has. Really nice. Anyway, I'll turn over my page.
Nice.
On the street where you live.
Have you written your notes out?
Yeah, I've got a book in case we get famous. I've got all my notes written out in one book, and then I could sell it.
Oh my goodness!
No, look, World on a String, episode 1. I don't feel at home in this world anymore.
Saying, look, this is a radio, completely auditory medium, and I can't even see you. So literally nobody is benefiting from that.
Man. Yeah, I got them all here. Chameleon 7.5, Watermelon Man 8.5, Sly 6.5.
I do mine on my nose, on my phone.
No, I've got all mine on your nose.
I do all mine on my phone.
Yeah.
And I deleted the first 3, but I've got 4 onwards still saved.
Yeah, I got all of them.
Just in case we get famous and I want to print them out and sell them.
Well, I've done it in a book, so I've also got mine and my friend's Eurovision results in here. Because I wrote them out.
God, you don't want to see our Eurovision results. We got a bit crazy at the end.
Did you? Oh, you did it really smart.
No, we didn't do it really smart. Or we had this A4 sheet, and while we were watching it, we'd just call out, like, give them 20 points. I liked that.
Oh.
And so it ended up the entire A4 sheet was filled with scribbles of where we changed all the points.
Yeah.
And if they sang in, like, a different language, like, if they sang in not their language, like in English.
Yeah.
We times their score by -1.
Oh, that is harsh.
So that they could go from like 1,000 to -1,000.
Just for singing.
Yeah.
But when you realise they were singing in a different language, like pretty much at the beginning, in English at the very beginning, so then it'd just be zero.
Well, sometimes they like the verses were in a different language, then the choruses were in English.
Oh.
So it keeps switching.
I like that. That's really cool.
It was silly.
Anyway,
it was fun though. What's next?
On the street
where you live.
You got anything to say about this?
I liked the ending.
Yeah, same. Lovely ending. Good, perfect.
I thought it was very musically similar to If I Had You.
Yeah.
It was almost difficult to tell that it was a new song.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're both big band tunes, so they both kind of come from the the 40s big bands. So if this was recorded in '60, they've just reduced it, I guess. Well, it's a standard, so they just played it, but they took it from the big bands originally, I think. Something to remember you by.
It had a different use of the flute.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it had a very long, bit more like
Yeah.
kind of
Beautiful.
flute, and that was quite nice.
Yeah. It's such a versatile instrument.
Yeah, the flute actually was definitely the best thing about this album.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It was just so different to the other jazz albums that we've listened to, and the way that every time it came in, I was like, oh yeah, the flute's back. It never got boring.
Yeah.
And I think that like a piano can get boring, whether it's just the chords kind of comping along.
Yeah.
I
mean, it does wear on you after a while. I mean, I've been listening to this album all week. Like, it's been on pretty much all the time just because I really like it. But
yeah, I can imagine then
it's been wearing thin.
Start to get
in the flute solo for this one, it goes to a double time fill
in the middle,
which was really nice.
I've said that I liked that flute solo.
Really, really good flute solo. Anyway, Bye Bye Blackbird.
This one, I said it sounded a bit more Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
It had that kind of speaking style.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're both very talented singers, and I'm not saying that they're speaking it, but the way that it is, the rhythm of the words is a bit more just speaking rather than singing, and I like that, and I think that's something that Ella does a lot.
Yeah, this is my favourite one on the album. It was the first tune I heard in the album, and I think I've discussed this before in the very first episode of the podcast when you asked me what my favourite tune was, and then we elaborated like 5 episodes later, and now we're 5 episodes again. I'll elaborate even more. So I said Summertime was my favourite tune.
You did.
And then I elaborated that
George Gershwin.
Chet Baker's version of Summertime is my favourite tune. So for every standard, you have a version of a musician that's done it before. And for Bye Bye Blackbird, this is the one for me.
Oh, this is your favourite version of Bye Bye Blackbird?
This is my ultimate favourite version of Bye Bye Blackbird. It's my favourite tune on the track. It's my best version of Bye Bye Blackbird. I absolutely love it.
Is this your favourite Etta Jones performance?
She did a good version of Look for the Silver Lining. But yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, All the Way.
Fair enough. This one, just weirdly, I don't know why, everything else had been in I guess, mono in my headphones, so it was equally through both. But this one, the flute was only coming through my left headphone, which annoyed me quite a lot.
Yeah. It's
and it was a little bit too similar to Don't Go to Strangers for me.
Yeah. It's a standard, as I said with the other one, about Bye Bye Blackbird, being like, oh yeah, this is my standard for Bye Bye Blackbird. This is like the one I always listen to. This is not the one I always listen to all the way. A lot of them I don't have a standard for, but all the way, this wasn't as good as Lee Morgan's version, which I highly recommend because it was amazing.
My least favourite.
Really? Was it the flute bit at the beginning?
Yeah. Well, the whole way through, the flute was only coming through my left. I actually didn't mind the flute bit at the beginning. It had that almost oriental feel. And I quite liked it. But it just feels like that happens, but then the rest of the song is just the same.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why is it like that?
Well, you've got to remember, this was early jazz. They're still experimenting with stuff.
But I don't know. It did feel similar to Don't Go to Strangers, which is my second least favourite on the album.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I think it was just the slower feel of it.
Yeah.
Didn't really appeal to me as much.
Holy shit. With that, should we go on to rankings?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's it. Those are the songs.
That's what we do. That's the format of this podcast.
I thought you were going to say, but there were 2 more songs on the album, and
there was not.
Okay, good.
Any more songs were there?
There were the bonus ones, but I said
not on my version. There were.
Okay, that's good. We're good. Nice. So I'll do my rankings because I chose the album.
Go on. Bang.
So I went Bye Bye Blackbird, I Love Paris, Where and When, If I Had You, Don't Go to Strangers, All the Way, Fine and Mellow, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, On the Street Where You Live, Something to Remember You By.
Huh. We've got a couple.
Are they inverse?
Very different. No, we've got a couple that are very different.
Yeah.
One that's the same, and then all the others are just like 1 or 2 out.
Can I guess the same one?
Yeah.
Is it Where or When?
No.
Shit.
It was I Love Paris.
Oh, wow.
So mine goes, Yes Sir, That's My Baby.
Yep, okay.
I Love Paris.
Yep.
If I Had You,
Oh yeah.
Where or When,
Yeah.
Bye Bye Blackbird,
Yeah.
Fine and Mellow,
Yeah.
On the Street Where You Live,
Yeah.
Something to Remember You By,
Mhm.
Don't Go to Strangers,
Yeah.
and then All the Way.
Yeah, they are pretty similar. There's a lot in
Yeah.
there that are quite similar. That
Now we've just hit the 40-minute mark,
we've always run over
so
with the album.
let's just crack on to Ashens and the Quest for the Gamechild.
Mhm.
So this was quite a different film to the films that we usually watch.
Sorry, I was drinking.
For one thing,
All right, you
it's
still go.
not hosted. It wasn't on Netflix. It's on YouTube.
Mhm.
I think that the kind of background, in a way, to the production of this film is quite important for watching it. I think this is so. The main character, Ashens, has a YouTube channel on which he reviews kind of old toys and budget toys and Poundland purchases and stuff like that. And the stuff that he reviews aren't interesting, but he is a funny guy, and the way that he talks about them is interesting. So the whole film is built around that character, really, of Stuart Ashens, and the way that he looks for Tat, and that is quite central. Is his YouTube personality, in a way.
Mhm.
And then a lot of the supporting cast are British YouTubers.
Yeah, you keep seeing little cameos, especially at the end when they're all like drinking together. You see a few cameos in there.
Yeah.
Which is quite
and cool. I don't know if it was like crowdfunded. I'm not sure it was. It was part of a thing that Warwick Davis spearheaded whenever it was released, quite a few years ago.
4 years, 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think it might have been longer than that.
Do you think?
4 maybe. 4 maybe.
4.
Yeah. And it was called the Multiverse, this thing that I was doing, and I'm not really sure what the point of it was, but it was a way to kind of bring more attention, I guess, to British YouTubers in a way.
Yeah.
And this was part of that. So I don't know if it was crowdfunded, or if it was kind of paid for by that company.
Yeah.
But it is definitely very budget and very very low budget, very indie.
Mhm.
Um.
It's still.
But I still thought it was really. I don't know. So it wasn't as good as I remember it being.
Yeah.
I watched it when it first came out. Obviously, I was 4 years younger or whatever.
Yeah, you were a young boy.
And I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really funny.
Mhm.
And then rewatching it, the vibe that it was going for was that kind of British, and I think that British comedy on YouTube is a very specific genre. You've got Tom Skirt and like Jack and Dean and people like that who make a very unique kind of comedy where it's often quite surreal and ridiculous, but played very straight and dry. And I think that was the vibe that this was going for. But I think a lot of the times it missed that, and it was instead hitting that kind of high school improv drama class vibe, where it's people just trying to be a bit random.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is, I was part of a youth theatre then where I was doing that, and I did find that really funny. So that might be why I found it so much funnier back then than I do now. I think it just slightly missed the mark. It is still good, and there are still funny parts in there. I'm not saying that the whole film falls a bit flat, but there are just quite a few jokes where that happens. And I hated Chef Excellence. I absolutely hated that character.
Really?
He really got on my nerves. It just was too. He was stupid. He was too stupid for me.
Oh, he's back. He's back again in the second one. He's already
The only thing I liked about Chef Excellence was the pun in his name, where his actual name was Jeff Excellence. Yeah. Oh. That was the only thing that I liked about him.
That poor guy. I liked Chef Excellence. I didn't
like the actor. I didn't like his performance. I didn't like the character.
Oh.
Well, I can't say that I don't like the actor. I don't know the actor. The actor might be really nice, but I didn't like his performance. I didn't like the character.
Yeah. Well, not much to say. I agree though. Back to your original point. I think I mean I didn't watch it when it first came out. I watched it a few years ago. Maybe even just 1 year ago. It was definitely before university. Probably 6 months before
Hmm.
that. So I did find it funnier then. I never found it. I mean I liked it a lot, and I thought for a YouTube film, it was pretty good.
5 years ago, 2013.
Five. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for a YouTube film in 2013, because YouTube wasn't that big
It
budget
wasn't
back
as
then.
big as it was now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, what, PewDiePie was only on 30 million subs back then. So I think it is a really, really good film for what it is, but I don't think if it was ever put up against other films, it would definitely wouldn't be as good. Other kind of
Yeah.
low budget films that weren't
Yeah,
made
it's
on
just
YouTube.
not a it's not a blockbuster, is it? It's just
Hmm.
not. It's not got the acting ability. It's not got the
Yeah,
writing. It is more little individual sketches put together in a way, but
yeah,
even not as like Monty Python is little sketches put together. This wasn't that
yeah,
enough. It was almost two between the two.
yeah. Because it wasn't like a load of little sketches with just a kind of running theme or a minor overarching like story or anything. It was a story just made of little sketches. Well, it could have been, but it wasn't quite that. I
Hmm.
did like it. I do like the film. I don't know if I'd like the second one as much. I think it'll be good, and I think it'll. I mean, what, it's got a budget
I
of
think it might be better.
$117,000 or something now on Indiegogo, or 137. I know it's got a 1 and 7 in it, so I think it will be really good. I think it'll be good, but I don't know if it'll be for my taste. I do have a newfound kind of respect for small filmmakers. So there's a YouTube channel called Austin McConnell, I think, something like that.
Uh huh.
And he kind of he made a short film like on a really small budget. I'll just find out his actual name. And he was talking about all the trouble and all the problems he had with it and how stressful it is and how long he spent editing and stuff. So I mean, it's not going to be a small budget as that. Um, but I feel like I have a new respect. Yeah, Austin McConnell. I'd watch his video because it's really, really good.
Okay, I will send me a link to it.
You will.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was. I did enjoy it. I gave it a 6
A 6.
as my score for it. Yeah,
Yeah, I gave it a. I think I gave it 7. Yeah, I gave it a
because it
7.
just
I gave it a
isn't.
7.
It's just it does not match up to proper theatrical films.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just not on the same level. But for what it was very impressive. It is
Yeah.
enjoyable to watch. Um, as a film, it doesn't do anything too. It doesn't. There's no cinematographic
No, there
aspects
was
to it. It is just shots.
one shot where I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And it's when he finds the game child and Chef Excellence is stood behind him and he like
Oh yeah, they're like
moves.
mirroring each other.
Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah, I
quite
wrote
good.
that down as well. I thought that was really cool. Um, it was a little bit too reference heavy at points. It didn't stand
Yeah.
on its own comedy as much as it should have done. I think Stuart Ashens is a very funny guy. I've listened to his podcast, the Bartians
Yeah.
podcast, um, and I've watched quite a few of his videos, and he's very funny. And I think within that British, I don't know how many of the really well known British comedy YouTubers are involved in it. Like people like Tomska and Jack and Dean weren't, but then Chris Bingham was.
And Crab Sticks was.
Yeah,
I've
were
forgotten his
so
name.
so and Kick the PJ as well.
Kick the
So
PJ, yeah.
I think there was a lot of talent behind it. I think with the second one, they'll have learned a lot from making this one,
Yeah.
which is why I'm more excited for
Do
the
you
second
think?
one. And I think we've both funded it. We've both
Yeah, yeah,
contributed to
yeah,
the fundraiser, haven't we?
yeah. I did my $5.
Yeah, I think I did $5 as well.
Are you worried about it being too overcrowded with British YouTubers then for this next one? Because I
I don't
mean
think
the
that's a bad
main
thing.
villain, not the main villain. one of the main actors in it now is
Nerdcubed.
Dan Hardcastle.
Yes.
And Chef Excellence is back. And
He is.
I imagine people like Crabsticks and Kick the PJ will be in it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah? Do you think it keeps it more local, more kind of centralized?
Not even that. I just think that for what it is, which is a kickstarted film that's going to be released on YouTube and is being produced by a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to cast YouTube talent in it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that is quite important to the charm in a way.
Yeah. But I think a lot of YouTubers tend to have big characters, like for their own YouTube videos.
Yeah, what will be difficult is casting them as a character that isn't just what they already do.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to watch just a Jack and Dean cameo in it.
Yeah.
I want them to be
their own
characters. That serve a purpose. I think I don't just want it to be references to internet culture.
Yeah.
Because that's when it just becomes cringy.
It doesn't age well either.
No.
Other than
like the funniest joke in this
yeah.
was when they were planning how to break in, and he went, "Oh, do you remember in Star Wars when they dress up as stormtroopers to sneak in?" And so you think they're going to dress up as guards and sneak in, but they just dress up as stormtroopers and get caught instantly. That's the best joke in it.
Yeah.
I thought.
But that's nothing to do with internet culture.
Yeah, that's a pop culture reference, which is completely different. But I think for people who produce content for the internet, it's easy to get them mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. From what I've listened to of Stuart Ashens, I think he's a very clever guy and will be very aware of that. And yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm a bit apprehensive about it, but I am looking forward to it. I think at the same time, if that's possible. Holy crap! Should we move on to our choices for the coming weeks?
Yeah.
Have you started watching The Good Place, by the way?
Well, no.
Okay.
I was going to say, how much have you watched?
I've watched 2 episodes.
What are you enjoying it?
I think.
I mean, I've not started watching it and taking notes, but I've seen the first 2 seasons already.
I think I'm concentrating too much. I think I'm trying to think of stuff to say about it. I'll watch it a few times because I quite like I like TV series.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll warm to it.
I enjoy it a lot.
Holy crap! Anyway, you're choosing the album this week.
I am.
So it's a break from jazz.
You know, I've been kind of to myself. I've been like, I want to do different genres each time.
Yeah.
So that it's quite varied.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and I was thinking about with the jazz that you've been recommending, always saying like, tentative that we're just having the same conversations every week.
Yeah.
But actually, I've been quite enjoying how each time we do a jazz, we kind of get deeper into it and have a quite a good conversation about it. So I think that there's a balance to be struck between just doing the same genres over and over again and doing different genres, whereas everything's too shallow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do another one of my kind of folk country music albums.
Yeah.
The last one I did was Guts and Teeth by Old Man Markley.
Yep.
This time I'm going to do By the Lamplight by Larry and His Flask.
Okay. Yeah.
They're both very different artists, but it's both the same genre, and I'm interested to hear your take.
I'm very scared. You've recommended Larry and the Flask a few times. I've never listened to them.
So I do. I like them a lot. I do like them.
By the Lamplight. Got it.
By the Lamplight.
Nice. So, after this week, you probably thought you were escaping jazz. Well,
you've not
think again, motherfucker.
Doing some weird jazz film.
No, I was going to do a documentary, like Lee Morgan, I called him Morgan, or Chasing Train, which is about John Coltrane, but I thought that would be too jazz heavy. So we're going for a film that I don't think you've seen. We talked about it in the first
This is
episode.
Spinal Tap.
No, we're watching La La Land.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't mind that.
Oh,
is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I checked.
I haven't seen it.
No. Have you heard any of the music from it?
Yes, but not. I don't super know it. They've played it at work. They've played it like over the speakers at work a couple of times.
Okay, it's good.
I'm quite excited to watch that actually.
It's good. Watch it with what? Oh no, you can't.
I can't
watch it with your girlfriend as well. I mean, you can, but you can't before we record.
I can't.
Yeah, I banned it.
I never can.
Yeah, watch it with your girlfriend because I'd be interested to see what she thinks. And it's a cute film to watch together. Okay. That's your Netflix sorted for the week. Just keep watching that. I've watched it 8 times in
8 times.
8 times in the week. Last week. The week.
You watched it 8 times in 1 week.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Me
James.
and Lucas, we started transcribing music for it just so we can have it as nice background music. So
how can you do that? How can you do that? I don't think I could watch my favourite film of all time 8 times in a week.
This is my favourite film of all time, so I definitely could.
That is ridiculous.
This is a really good film. You'll love it. I can't wait to hear you slate it. Oh man.
I think I will enjoy it.
Yeah, I think
you will. From what I know
of
it, I think I will enjoy it.
Holy crap. Okay.
Go kickstart, fund Ashens and the Polybius heist.
Polybius.
Everyone who listens.
That's all. How many people? 2?
I think like 2 people, maybe 3.
Yes. Oh, we got a lovely message on the Facebook page.
My dad sent us another message.
Oh my god. I love him.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. It was amazing. It really made my day. I know you've got loads of stories to look forward to now that I found this new lease on life, going out and doing stuff every day, rather than just sitting and editing badly.
Or one of the hosts of one of the podcasts followed me on Twitter the other day.
What?
Oh, it made me so happy.
Didn't follow me. That is some bullshit. Oh. Yeah, we shouted them out. If we shout Ashens out, do you think we'd get a retweet?
I'm going to tag him in it.
Oh, yeah, good. I'll tweet him.
It's just, I want to get more listeners.
Yeah.
If you found this podcast through a potential Stuart Ashens retweet, leave us an iTunes review.
Please leave us a review in Podchaser.
Keep listening.
Yeah,
keep listening. Review us on Podchaser as well. That's really helpful to help us find new listenership.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tweet us. Recommend stuff to us.
Yes.
Help us say stuff. That goes for everyone. If you, even you will, if you're still listening to this. Don't know if you are. If you are, recommend something.
Yeah, Balchi.
I want you guys to help out.
Yeah. If you donate £5 on our Patreon, we will listen to one of your albums.
Man, I wish we had a Patreon. I wish we had enough listeners to make a Patreon.
Yeah, we will do one day. Holy shit.
One day we'll join a big podcast network and get a Patreon and a salary.
Wait,
and it'll be brilliant.
Are they a thing?
Yeah.
That's mad. I didn't know. Wow.
And then I'll be able to move to Chicago and do improv comedy over there.
And I will get stung by wasps. Holy shit. Oh.
Thanks for listening to World on a String. You can find us on iTunes, I think. Yeah, Twitter and Facebook. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at WAS Podcast, and also on iTunes, where our tag is the same, World on a String Podcast. We do have, I don't know if you knew this, James. I don't know if you know this, but we've actually got a website.
Yeah, I did. I saw it the other day.
WOAS.wordpress.com, but it's actually really a pain to put our episodes and videos up on there, and I don't think I've done it since episode 6. So don't go to WAS.wordpress.com because I don't update it.
That's
anymore.
Not owned by us anymore. We've sold it.
I mean, it is. I
sold it.
It belongs to our email address.
Someone owns half of it.
But I don't bother with it. I don't think it was it's not helpful at this moment in time.
Yeah. Good shout.
Email us at was@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I think that's it, isn't it? Or is it WASpod?
It's going mad.
This is do that.
Weirdest outro.
Email us with things to listen to. I want your music. If you have an album, recommend it. We'll listen to it as long as you retweet us. We'll listen to it and review it. But we're gonna review it honestly. So if you get a bad review, you still have to retweet us.
Yeah, retweet
George Hewlin.
Yeah, we'll listen to Vaporwave. Holy shit. Anyway,
there we go.
Willed on a String is hosted by James Curgenven and Tom Joshi-Cale. You can find me on Twitter at James Curgenven.
And you can find me at Ace.Terror1 for now. I might change that. All music on the show is original music by James Curgenven. See you later.
Oh man, what an end!
What an outro.